In 1986, Madonna released her blockbuster third album, True Blue, which would go on to sell 25 million copies worldwide, making it the biggest of her career, just behind the Immaculate Collection, and positioning her as a superstar on par with Michael Jackson and Prince. It broke all kinds of records around the world and is widely considered by many fans to be her greatest era. So just how did Madonna pull off the hat trick with True Blue? How did she meet Patrick Leonard and start working with him? Why were Warner execs so nervous about the release of Live to Tell? How did Madonna's team find Papa Don't Preach and Open Your Heart? What major recording artist originally said no to La Isla Bonita? What did one of her managers who stopped working with her around this time have to say about her? So many questions, let's find out. Madonna met Patrick Leonard, arguably her most important musical collaborator, when he was given the job of musical director for her Virgin tour in early 1985. According to Lucy O'Brien's biography of the superstar like an icon, he was eager to write with Madonna from the beginning of their working relationship and would leave tapes at her hotel room door, which she would often ignore. But over the course of the Virgin tour, he became friendly with Sean Penn, which I'm sure helped his cause. In an interview with the website Boy Culture in 2017, Patrick says that the first song he wrote with Madge was Love Makes the World Go Round, with Live to Tell being the follow-up. So basically they were turning out greatness right from the very beginning. In an interview with Dutch TV show Top 2000 A Go-Go in 2018, Patrick Leonard explained how Live to Tell came about. Originally he was writing music for the 1986 movie Fire with Fire and asked Madge to contribute lyrics, but ultimately he was let go from the project. When he informed her about this development, our Madge, ever quick to spot an opportunity, said they should use the song they'd been working on for Sean Penn's new movie At Close Range. Later that day, Patrick was at another songwriting session with Quincy Jones and a small-time singer you may have heard of called Michael Jackson. Sean Penn called Patrick during the session and told him to come to James Foley's house, the director of At Close Range, as soon as he could. When he arrived, the two men along with Madge were all there. They had all heard and loved Live to Tell, and James wanted Patrick to write the music for his new movie. Madonna didn't initially think she was the right choice to sing Live to Tell, as she thought it was too low for her. But Patrick Leonard was convinced she was the right woman for the job. They used Madonna's original take as their final vocal because Patrick says it had so much simple, focused emotion. But as a number of sources have reported over the years, Warner were none too keen on the song being the first single and were worried it could kill Madge's career. Live to Tell sounded moodier and darker than anything she had done before, and the original version was 6 minutes long with 2 stops. Warner execs feared it was too much of a departure after the up-tempo dance tracks from Like a Virgin, which proved so popular. Although Crazy For You was really Madonna's first ballad, Live to Tell was co-written by the singer and felt like a much more substantial and mature offering. Of course, those execs needn't have worried because the song became the Material Girls' third US #1 and a huge #2 in the UK, and in the years since has become a bona fide classic. And Madge, with her talent for choosing collaborators, soon made Patrick the lead producer on the album. And the second single, which coincided with the release of the actual album in June '86, was of course the classic Papa Don't Preach. The song was written by singer-songwriter Brian Elliott, who was signed to Warner Music at the time and was writing songs for an up-and-coming artist by the name of Christina Dent. According to a number of sources, it was Michael Austin, an A&R guy at Warner, who also found Like a Virgin for Madge, who heard the song and thought it would be perfect for her. Apparently Brian needed some persuading as he had been working with Christina for a number of months, but ultimately he knew it would be a smarter move to give the song to a major recording artist like Madonna. In an interview with the fan site Madonna Tribe, Stephen Bray says he got a demo for the song to start work on producing it in 1985. Stephen Bray tweeted about the song on its 35th anniversary in 2021, saying Madonna had a cold on the day she recorded the vocal at his apartment in North Hollywood. And as you would imagine, with Madge at this point being one of the most famous women on the planet, caused quite a stir amongst the neighbours upon her arrival. Madonna contributed minor lyrical revisions to the song, which earned her a co-writing credit on the track. And for backing vocals, Stephen would rope in the services of Siedah Garrett, who would go on to write the huge hit Man in the Mirror for Michael Jackson and work as one of Madonna's backup singers on the Reinvention Tour. In an interview with Rolling Stone from 2021, Siedah talked about how she came to work with Madonna. I've been writing with Stephen Bray. I knew he knew Madonna and I wanted to write a song for Madonna. He was producing True Blue and invited me to come and record. That's how I met Madonna. She was awesome and she was stunning. No makeup, straight up beautiful. She was ridiculously youthful and gorgeous, and she was fun to sing with. She appreciated good singers, so she let me and the other singers do our thing. Madonna, ever the canny marketeer, knew that Papa Don't Preach and its theme of teenage pregnancy were perfectly on brand for her, and as you would imagine, upon its release, the song generated a great deal of controversy. The classic video was directed by James Foley, and Madonna's father in the video, Danny Aiello, would go on to record a response song entitled Papa Wants the Best for You the same year. In an interview with the Huffington Post from 2011, Danny said he had no idea who Madonna was when he was first offered the job, and he only took it because his teenage daughter was such a big fan. He also said in the interview that the video was a piece of crap. Well, whatever his thoughts on the video, it can't have done his career much harm, because the following year he would go on to star opposite Cher in Moonstruck and was nominated for an Oscar in 1989 for Do the Right Thing. And as with all Madonna songs, there have been plenty of covers over the years, with one of the most notable being Kelly Osbourne's interesting take on the classic way back in '02. According to Lucy O'Brien's book on the superstar like an icon, recording sessions began for the album in a small studio in Patrick Leonard's basement. Madonna had just started driving, and on the first day of recording accidentally drove through Patrick Leonard's fence. And following Live to Tell, the next song they worked on together was Open Your Heart. The song was written by Gardner Cole and his friend Peter Raffleson, and in an interview with the fan site Madonna Tribe, Cole says he worked on the song for over a year. The original title was Follow Your Heart, named after a vegetarian restaurant in Los Angeles. Cole had a crush on a waitress there called Lisa, who became the inspiration for the song. And initially the two songwriters didn't have Madge in mind to record it, but a certain Cyndi Lauper. Jason Scheff, the lead singer of the group Chicago, sang the original demo for Open Your Heart. In the same interview, Cole talked about how the song found its way to Madonna and how he brought Donna DeLory into Madonna's inner circle. I was being managed by a man who was part of Madonna's management company. I went into the offices and played the song for my manager. Freddie DeMann overheard the song and thought it would be a hit for Madonna, and he asked me to re-demo a female version. Donna DeLory was my very first girlfriend in LA, and I immediately asked her to sing the demo. Later I became friends with Patrick Leonard, and when he was helping Madonna put together a tour, I suggested they use Donna to dance and sing backup, and I gave him her contact info. Madonna changed some of the lyrics from the verse and the pre-chorus from the demo, earning her a writing credit on the song. And Patrick Leonard changed the groove and made it more up-tempo overall. And whilst Madge is not known for being the greatest technical singer or having the widest range, it's hard to deny she delivered a pretty strong and passionate vocal for the track. Open Your Heart was the fourth single to be released from the album in the winter of 1986. In early February '87, the song ascended to the top spot in America, becoming Madge's fifth #1 song there. The video featured young child actor Felix Howard, who today is a music industry bigwig and has co-written a number of big pop hits, including Overload and Stronger for British girl group The Sugar Babes. According to Revolutions in Sound, Warner Brothers, the first 50 years, it was Jeff Ioroff, Warner's then head of creative marketing, who introduced Madonna to Jean-Baptiste Mondino, who would go on to direct the video for Open Your Heart. He had recently directed Don Henley's Boys of Summer video, which won the Video of the Year at the MTV Awards in 1985. Jean-Baptiste Mondino would of course go on to be a long-term collaborator of Madge's, directing Justify My Love, Human Nature, Don't Tell Me, and Hollywood, and doing the photography for Madonna's 2000 album Music. The promo for Open Your Heart was one of her most sexually provocative videos at the time, and the first of hers to feature homoerotic imagery, which of course is commonplace in today's music landscape, but Madonna was leading the way over 35 years ago. Originally written by Patrick Leonard and Bruce Skyche, the instrumental demo of the song was first offered to Michael Jackson, but the white-gloved one passed on the track. In an interview with the Boy Culture website in 2017, Patrick spoke about how the song came about and how it ultimately went to Madge. After the Victory Tour, I was still in touch with Michael and Quincy and doing some work with them. And Quincy called me and said, I want to do something sort of Sade-like for Michael. Would you write something? And so I wrote that song and sent it to him with some form of a vocal on it and the phrase La Isla Bonita. He called up and said, I just don't think it's for Michael. Madonna and I were getting together, so I showed it to her and she said, oh, I like this, let's work on it. According to Lucy O'Brien's biography of the superstar Like an Icon, Bruce Skyche wasn't disappointed when Michael Jackson passed on the song. He didn't want it, thank God. I didn't like him. I always thought he was a freak, just creepy. He gave me the willies, like meeting a ghost of a person. According to the same book, Leonard suggested giving the song to Madge, who was in Hong Kong at the time filming Shanghai Surprise. So this must have been in early '86. She wrote the lyrics and melody whilst in Hong Kong, earning herself a co-writing credit for the song, and the track was produced by Madonna and Patrick Leonard. Madge said that La Isla Bonita was inspired by the beauty and mystery of Latin American people, and years later in an interview with Rolling Stone, she had this to say about the song. I don't know where San Pedro is. At that point I wasn't a person who went on holidays to beautiful islands. I may have been on the way to the studio and seen an exit ramp for San Pedro. The song went to number 1 in the UK and number 3 in the US, and the video was directed by long-term Madonna collaborator Mary Lambert, who had also done Borderline, Like a Virgin and Material Girl. La Isla Bonita is Madonna's top viewed video on YouTube with almost 700 million views, and in a blink and you'll miss it appearance, a young Benicio del Toro can be spotted in the background sitting on a car. True Blue apparently was a favourite expression of Sean Penn, and the title track, the third single from the album, was an homage to the classic 60s girl group sound, but with an 80s twist. Co-written with long-term collaborator Stephen Bray, who also grew up in Detroit, and like Madonna, he too was heavily influenced by the Motown sound from his younger years. There were 2 videos for the song, the official one and one chosen from an MTV competition, where fans had the opportunity to make their own and potentially win $25,000. The winner, Angel Garcia, has gone on to be a successful director, making music videos, TV commercials, and even a feature film. In an interview with the Chicago Tribune from '86, Madge had this to say about Where's the Party, a song which was rumoured to be the album's 6th single. Where's the Party is my ultimate reminder to myself that I want to enjoy life and not let the press get to me, because every once in a while it does. Jimmy Jimmy was Madonna's tribute to her childhood idol James Dean. In an interview in '86 with the Chicago Tribune, Madge said that she used to fantasize that they grew up together in the same neighborhood. And the album's 3rd track also had another movie link. White Heat is named after the 1949 gangster movie of the same name, and a snippet of the movie's lead star James Cagney opens the track. James Cagney plays a psychotic gangster in the movie who is distraught by the death of his mother. True Blue is a bright sounding pop record, perhaps the most optimistic we've ever heard Madge, reflecting her positive mood at the time after marrying Sean Penn. A few months earlier, Madonna had moved to LA after getting married, so this was her first album recorded outside of New York. Sessions for the album must have begun around the end of the Virgin Tour in June '85, as Madge debuted Love Makes the World Go Round the following month at Live Aid. As mentioned earlier, it was the first song she and Patrick Leonard worked on together. In an interview with Boys Culture website from 2017, Patrick admits he wasn't initially keen on working with Madonna on her Virgin Tour, but he has this to say about their creative partnership. The connection that we had were two completely different artistic spirits. We couldn't be more different, and consequently when we did work together, there was a very interesting chemistry that's still palpable. I don't remember any song that we spent 2 days on. When we went into production, we would work on them then, but during writing, I remember it being a song a day. I'm not going to say much about the visuals for this era, as that would need a whole other video in itself. But I can't talk about the True Blue era without mentioning Madge's new image. Gone were the crucifixes, the bangles, the boy toy belts, and replaced with shorter hair, softer makeup, and a cleaner, simpler look. Madonna at the time described her new image as more innocent and feminine, and it was said to be inspired by glamorous movie stars of Hollywood's golden age such as Grace Kelly and Marilyn Monroe. Whilst her new look was well received by fans, and in the years since has gone on to become another iconic Madonna image, it wasn't necessarily a positive change for everyone. Maripol, her former stylist, was key in creating Madge's Like a Virgin look. The stylist also designed jewellery and had invented the rubber bracelet which Madonna made famous. The worldwide exposure of her work of course led to enormous demand for her jewellery, but unfortunately Maripol hadn't copyrighted her designs, so cheap knockoffs were mass produced. And with the arrival of Madge's updated look in '86, demand swiftly dropped. Maripol unfortunately went bankrupt in '88. And in 1985, Madonna's two managers, Freddie DeMann and Ron Weisner, parted company, and Ron decided that Freddie could keep Madonna as his artist. Ron, who also managed Michael Jackson at the height of his success, wrote extensively about Madonna in his 2014 autobiography Listen Out Loud, and his reviews weren't exactly glowing. In one passage, he describes her as the mouth from Michigan and writes this about her. Madonna would do anything to succeed, anything she had to, and she did. It seemed at times that she was getting meaner. In his book, he talks about the final meeting with Freddie where they divide up the artists on their roster. When we got to Madonna's name, I said, "You can have her, you belong together." The second those words left my mouth, I felt like a huge, surly, masturbating on stage weight had been lifted from my shoulders. A goodly number of people who knew Madonna agreed with my decision, whilst others whose opinions I actually respected thought I was nuts. Sure, I wanted to help my family and have a good life, but I also want me to have a good life. And if Madonna were a part of it, no amount of money was worth the headache. In defense of Madge, the music industry in the 80s was, and is still probably today, incredibly patriarchal. And Madonna as a young woman probably felt the need to act tough and assert herself in order to survive what essentially was a boys' club. And most of the women who work with Madonna do tend to speak much more favourably of her. Madonna really started to develop her signature sound and come into her own on True Blue. It was the album which marked her commercial peak, with every single from the album reaching the top 5 in the US and Britain, 3 of them making it to #1 in those territories. With True Blue, she solidified her superstar status and tightened her grip on the title Queen of Pop. Whilst her new look was well received by fans, who was signed to Warner Music at the time and was writing songs for an up-and-coming artist called Cretina, as that would need a whole other video in itself. And don't forget to check out my other video which tells the story of Madonna's 1984 classic Like a Virgin. Thanks for watching.